We are talking to Doug Freel, the filmmaker of Fix, the Ministry movie, which is playing Wednesday, October 26th at Clearview Cinema Chelsea. That's 260 West 23rd Street, right here in New York City at 9 o'clock. I have to ask you, Ministry is a controversial band in a lot of different ways. And there are some fans who only like a period of Ministry's career.
That is so true.
There are some that only like up until about 1984 and then have nothing but contempt for what came after. There are some that hit that sweet spot of Land of Rape of Honey and Psalm 69 and then maybe stopped following them shortly after, the period which you document in this film, 1996. And there are some that like all three periods, equally. Where do you fit into this category?
Well, when I got on that bus, I was a bit of a newbie in 1996. I had heard some of course, Psalm 69 stuff because it got so popular. But I was just for me, I kind of learned a lot about Ministry while being on that tour, and it was the Filth Pig tour, the Sphinctour, it was called. And I really, really liked that record, and so it was really fortunate for me in a way to go back and go, well, what led up to this? And I'd only kind of heard the rumors, if you know what I mean. So
right.
I was able to fall in love with them for the third act, if you will. Probably not the fourth act, if you count the one where once Paul Barker was gone and Al was kind of moving more into I would almost say more of a straight-ahead rock thing. Mm-hmm. The El Paso years, if you will. I didn't really follow, like a lot of people, I didn't follow that as much. But it was really kind of good because then I could go back after learning about the Sphinctour, and then they became my friends. So then from that point on, I got to know them during that. And a lot of musicians actually find that phase, even though they took over Lollapalooza earlier on, several years
right.
before, which was extremely exciting when they put up the cyclone fences and had two drummers and all that stuff. That was really exciting. But for a lot of musicians, less fans and more musicians started really loving what they were doing in Filth Pig and Dark Side of the Spoon, and there's like one other that I can't pronounce. The Anatoma Sawnina,
right.
whatever that one. But anyway, so I was new to all of it. The only thing I wasn't new, I'll just be straight up with you. The only thing I wasn't new to when I got on that bus was being on the bus, a bus with crazy people, where because that was my career, right? I made lots and lots of music videos back in the day, and that was kind of a running joke that I was that Al always thought it was really perfectly inappropriate that a guy that would do Poison, Kiss, and Def Leppard videos would be out there to document his life as a quote-unquote poser, that was our running joke. Is like, and in the movie, I will tell you the main theme of the movie is it real? Is Al specifically, but rock stars in general, is there a certain point where either it's pathological narcissism or it's just good business, or they start to believe their own press so much that they really do, in Al's case, become a pirate, if you will.
Right.
And that's what the movie is really about. It's more about that than the music, and I think a lot of, because I've shown it just a few times now and done Q&As afterwards, that's a lot of what the audience, they're very surprised, put it that way, because there are so many movies out, some good ones, some that bore me to tears, of rock stars that I really like, and then you see a documentary about it, and all it does is say, wasn't that a great time? Isn't that a great band?
Right.
Which is what you already felt, So I look at those movies, and like I say, the new Pearl Jam film is a pretty amazing film, but it doesn't do anything that Fix tries to do. So for all those fans that are hoping to go see a film about about Ministry, where everyone's going, Ministry are so great, it's not like that.
It says in the press release for the film, it says that Al had kind of a love-hate relationship with the project.
Oh yeah, he did. In the end, the film that everyone will see, there's everything in it he loved. When I finished cutting the film, it was with him in El Paso, basically. Mm-hmm. We locked every shot that we wanted, and then after that, it only just kind of got polished out, if you will. But over the preceding 15 years, oh my God, it was it was like, let's do this thing in the beginning, and then several years later, it was more like, if you don't send me all those tapes back, I will have your legs broken. And so then we wouldn't talk for 2 years, and he'd go, dude, when are we going to finish the movie? And then it was a real roller coaster ride over the years, and I think finally the only thing that brought it out of out of the focus of the original footage on his debauched tour was these other rock stars that I got interviews of. Everybody from just the usual suspects. Everyone you would think, Maynard from Tool and Jonathan from Korn, even Lemmy, Navarro. I got a whole bunch of people that were around during that time, and that really took the pressure off both Paul and Al of just looking like the poster kids for blowing up a band, if you will.
Right.
Can I swear on this show?
No, you have to keep it FCC clean.
Okay.
Well, you mentioned the debauched tour. Was there any time where you were a little fearful of what was going on?
Well, I don't know if you know my history beyond, other than that I did a lot of big hair bands a long time ago, but I became a hardcore junkie myself, a fairly high-functioning one, like traveling the world doing kind of popular videos, and then not so high-functioning, and kind of wrecked myself. And I got clean off of a 10-year heroin habit just a few months before I got on this bus, of all things.
Oh, jeez.
And so it was a really interesting. So it was going to go really bad, or it was going to be really interesting because, But I stayed clean. I haven't ever done any dope since I quit just before getting on that bus with Al. But that gave me a really interesting perspective, of course, a non-judgmental perspective, if you will. So I can sit across the table from someone who's shooting dope all day, every day, and that doesn't scandalize me. It doesn't make me think it's wrong, or I don't have a moral perspective about it, because I lived through that myself. And it was always my hope, of course, that Al would choose at some point to be more of a lucid dude, because he has an amazing brain on him, and to only use it for a few hours a day was it becomes kind of a sad thing, actually. So anyway, I came from that perspective where for a lot of people I would see it every night. They'd open the door to the dressing room or the back of the bus or whatever and just go, "Oh my God, this is the real deal," and I'd just be sitting there going, "What? Come on," But of course, Al, being the prankster that he is, would just play that stuff up like crazy, and he enjoyed scandalizing people, clearly.
So that factors into the "is it real" aspect of the movie.
It very much does, and I hope that I don't want to hand too much away, but I hope it's troubling. When I see an audience watch it, there's a lot of humor in there in the film, of course, because there was a lot of humor in Ministry. Mm-hmm. They were playful guys, even though they were very serious about their sound. They love to, I'm trying to think of ways to say things and keep swear words out. Take the Mickey or whatever out of other bands who would take themselves so seriously. And Ministry were like, "Well, we're better players than you, and we're just having fun." Anyway, so I don't know if that answers your question.
Well, no, it does. And by the way, it's always interesting when you have to reach for substitutions for swear words. Everybody comes off sounding like they're from the 1800s. Which is take the Mickey. But I like that.
Exactly.
Jimmy Cagney would approve. Of course, this tour was documented on a Ministry CD, at least the music, obviously, from the tour, and a DVD as well.